Hello friends, it's Tanya with Sweet Tea Stampin' Spot, and it's Tuesday afternoon in the 2 o'clock hour, at least on the East Coast, and actually it's almost 3 o'clock, but we're still in the 2 o'clock hour by a few moments. And I'm here to share my Sweet Teas Tuesday tip with you. And hopefully my computer will catch up, so I want to give that a second so I can see any comments. If you are watching live or a replay, either way, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, let me know you're watching. I love it to see who's watching and to respond if you have questions or comments. But today I'm going to be sharing a tip about keeping things clean, which sometimes can be a challenge for some of us, myself included. But I wanted to share this tip with you because when I had my card buffet earlier this month, at the beginning of the month, one of the things I noticed was that my stamps weren't sticking to the blocks. So I wanted to share a tip about keeping the photopolymer stamps clean, and if you are having problems with them sticking to the block, how to help resolve that issue. So I found myself, so it looks like I'm here, and there I am. Okay, so again, I hope you're doing well and having a great week. The weather here is rainy most of the week, and so not the best weather week, but hey, that's okay. We got plenty to do inside and plenty to create and get busy here in the stamp room. So I don't have to be outside this week if I don't need to, especially with the wet weather. All right, so just a couple quick things real quick. So today is the 13th of May and 2025, and I have a couple things coming up this week. Many of you signed up for bingo night, which is this Friday the 16th. You should be seeing an email either later tonight or first thing in the morning with our attendee information if you're signed up for our Stampin' Bingo night. It has sold out, so we did sell out at the end of April, and so it's going to be a fun event filled with lots of fun Stampin' Up! Prizes. Next week, I have a couple of opportunities to connect with you virtually or in person. Next Wednesday, which is the 21st of May, I have what I call Open Studio or Kit Together Night here in the studio, and that starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, but I also do it via Zoom. So the ones that are here socialize together, and then I also have a Zoom going. So that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you're able to join that wherever you're at, and you can craft on whatever you're crafting on. You don't have to stamp if that's what you don't want to. If you want to do something other than stamping, it's really just an opportunity to craft together and take a couple of hours on a Wednesday night. And I usually do that about once a month. But for May, it is next Wednesday, the 21st. And then I also have my Happy Hands class next week, and I meant to grab the stuff, but I forgot it, so we'll just mention it. But next Thursday night, the 22nd, here in the studio is my Happy Hands Suite class. And this month, I am featuring the Celebratory Sips Suite, which is a new product suite that is online exclusive. And it includes the Cheers and Sips stamp set and die set and some really fun paper. So you may have seen lots of samples. It's a very fun cocktails or pretty beverages, pretty drinks kind of stamp set and bundle. There's also designer paper, dies, and some bling and some embossing folders that go with the whole suite. So that's my class. That's what I'll be featuring for the Happy Hands Suite class. So I do still have room. The sign up ends I think I put tomorrow, which is the 14th. So let me know if you would like to attend that in person. And then at the end of the month, I have 2 more opportunities after Memorial Day. So Tuesday, the 27th, is my coffee or tea and cards class, and that's on at 9:30 in the morning here in the studio. That's a real simple, easy morning in the studio with me and friends. And then Friday, the 30th of May, is a mystery kit night. So a little bit about that is each person comes, and at their station will be a wrapped kit from Stampin' Up, and they're typically always card making kits, and we just open them up and you make what you get, and it's a mystery as to what you're going to get, like a surprise. We usually have snacks and popcorn. We usually have something going on the TV, whether it be Netflix or a movie. Sometimes we've done Hallmark movies, whatever everybody kind of decides on that night. So that is at 6:30 on Friday the 30th of May. So I just wanted to highlight a couple things coming up that, again, if you can't join me in person, if you're not local, next Wednesday, the 21st, is the opportunity to join us via Zoom. So just shoot me a quick message or leave a comment and I can share the Zoom link with you through Messenger or a text or something. All right, so let me get my camera turned down so I can share my tip with you and we'll get started with that. So I see somebody is watching at least. I think one person at least right this moment. And so let me know if you're watching while I'm switching things down. Say hi or give me a wave. Let's see here. Get my glasses on. So press the right button. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Maybe not that much. There we go. All right. So we are in to our new catalog now. I did want to mention that. The new catalog started last Tuesday, so 1 week ago. And I'm excited about so many products in here. I don't even have my full wish list even really started yet. But I'm seeing so many beautiful creations with these products, new colors, all kinds of fun things. So I'm excited about the new catalog. Plus, there's a whole lot of new online exclusives that were released last week as well, and 2 new kits. So I just wanted to mention that. And I also wanted to mention that there is a starter kit promotion happening for the month of May, and that's until May 31st. And that is to select for the starter kit, you would pay $99 plus tax, whatever your tax rate is. And you would get to choose $165 in product. And it can be a combination of products from the annual catalog, from online exclusives. It could be some of the kits. It could be whatever combination of products you want in your Stampin' Stash. And it gets free shipping with it. And it's $165 in product for $99. So it's a really great deal. And I highly encourage you to think about it. If you do have a big wish list, either from here or the online exclusives or both, and knock that out and get crafting. So I wanted to mention that as well. All right, so at the top of the video, I mentioned that I did a card buffet. It was my first month doing a card buffet class with my Fun Bunch group, and I'll be doing it every month for the rest of the year. And one of the things we did was just different cards, and some people wanted different greetings than what I had put on the example, which was fine. I have no problem pulling some stamp sets. This one has sold out. This was on the last chance list with the catalog that just retired. This is the Labeled with Love stamp set, which has had much love this last year. I will say that. The punch that coordinates with it is still available and is carrying forward, but this stamp set has sold out and is gone. But Happy Birthday was a popular greeting, so I pulled this stamp set out. And of course, this is a photopolymer, and that's what I'm going to focus on today is photopolymer cleaning. So the stamp set, of course, it will get stained. And you can see some of these stamps are pretty clear still because maybe they've only been used once or twice. Some are lighter pink, some are darker pink, and that they do get stained. And for me, it doesn't bother me. I know some people are very particular about their staining on their stamps, but for me, that just means it got a lot of love and a lot of ink on it, and people used it, myself or my classes, and that makes me happy just as much. But sometimes they get so dirty that they stop sticking to the blocks. They almost feel like they're gritty. This was the one we used, the Happy Birthday one. As you can see, it has been well loved, but it is very smooth and it's not tacky, whereas some of these other ones, I mean, they'll stick to my finger. They'll stick to my hand pretty well, like that. Whereas this one will not stick anymore because it is not tacky anymore. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today and show you something you can do. So I'm going to move my stamp set out of the way. I don't have in my studio space here a sink or anything. So what I've done, and I might need to grab some white paper to be able to see better. So let me grab something. Well, here's this. I can use that, but that way you can see. And I'm going to put some other things up here. So this is my stamp, and like I said, it no longer sticks to my finger. Therefore, it's going to have a hard time sticking to my block, which can get frustrating when you're trying to stamp and ink up a stamp. So what you're going to need is some water, and I would suggest warm water. So I have taken some plastic containers with lids so that I could bring them out here. I'm going to move this up a little bit. And you can just use the warm water. I'm moving some things away out of all my desk here. But it is warm water, and I've just got some lids. I'm just going to open them up carefully. And I've got two that I'm opening right here that you'll be able to see, but I'm actually going to put a second and a third and a fourth one just off camera. But what you'll be able to see is just on here. So this is something that you would not want to do right before you need to stamp, because it does need time to dry. So you're going to have warm water. It does not have to be soapy. I am, however, going to add, if you do add soap, I would recommend just your regular Dawn, a couple of squirts of that. So I'm going to put a couple of squirts of my Dawn in this one warm water area. The other thing you're going to want to have close at hand is a way to put the stamps on something to dry. Many of us have these cookie racks or cooling racks that you have for baking, but you definitely want to have something you can put them on that does not have fabric or cloth, even paper towels, because they will leave lint on your stamps after you've wet them, and you want them to air dry. So these little baking racks, mine's kind of large, it's as big as that grid mat down below. But these are helpful to place them on so that they can air dry. So that'll be kind of off camera. Actually, what I'm going to do is kind of move some things around as I'm doing this. I'll put it just to the side here. I'm going to put some paper towels under it just to catch any dripping. All right, so hopefully you can see that there. Pull it over just a bit. So again, you don't want to leave your stamps on paper towels or any kind of towel or cloth, because it will have lint. Now, if you have a lint-free cloth, like a chamois type thing to dry it on, that's fine. But these little cooling racks, baker's rack, work great as well. All right, so, and like I said, I've got two more of these containers filled with warm water. So I've only put the soap in the first one. This one is clean water, it is warm, and then two more with just clean water. And I'm doing that because if I was at a sink, it would be a little different, but because I'm just using some containers here in my studio, it was easier to just do the 4 containers. But that way you can soap it and wash it and then triple rinse it in each of the containers down the row and then put it on the rack to cool. So let's get started. So you're just going to dunk it in and give it a little scrub. If you have a little scrub brush or something you could use, but I'm just going to use my fingers, and I can already feel it becoming slick again, which is going to be great to stick to the block eventually once it dries. Okay, so you can see I don't have a ton of the Dawn in here, but I can definitely feel it. You can see a little bit of bubbles coming up. I didn't want to put like a huge amount in there because again, I'm not at a sink where I can really rinse it very well. So, but you can see I do have some Dawn in there because it is bubbling up. All right, so let me grab my other paper towel for my fingers. All right, so I'm just going to use my one hand now, and I'm just kind of letting it get, you can feel the grime coming right off, and I know this is probably great video, but hopefully it teaches you something. That's my goal. And it's getting some of the ink off too, actually. I can tell it's a little bit lighter than it was. Maybe I should have done this sooner. However, we just roll with it. We keep moving, right? So you don't always have time to wash your stamps. But this one in particular was one that I know had been well loved and well used and needed a bath. So I've done all the soaping. I'm not going to go backwards. I'm going to go forward through my containers. So there's the first rinse, and just kind of gently move that around in there. Then I'm going to flip over to the third one and the fourth one, which I know you can't see, but that's going to basically be my triple rinse. If you ever took chemistry classes, whenever you had to clean labware, you always triple rinse. And that's how I do with anything I have to rinse out a container or something, I always triple rinse. I'm weird like that. So I can definitely feel it is not grimy anymore. It is smooth again, and I'm not gonna be able to prove that to you, but trust me on that. And now I know once it dries, and I'm just gonna leave it on the drying rack, I'm gonna put smooth side up and let that groove side, the stamped side, go face down. And again, it'll just air dry. I don't know how long that'll take, but it'll be nice and clean and easily will stick to my block the next time I go to use it. And I might just go ahead and pull out the rest of this stamp set, since I know a couple of them are similar. This one and this one. Since I've got the water here, and this butterfly one as well, give them a quick little rinse and wash before I put this all away. All right, so hopefully you've enjoyed this little tip with keeping your stamps clean. Again, this only works with the photopolymer. You do not want to stick red rubber stamps that have the foam in water like this. This is just for photopolymer, which people sometimes also call the clear. You can stick these in the water, but you do not want to do the foam red rubber ones like this, because if the foam gets wet and then the adhesive between the foam and the red rubber can be degraded by that water, you don't want to do this technique with red rubber, just your photopolymer or clear stamps, okay? So hopefully this is something interesting and helpful, and I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.